This is Tammy with Debbie Tammy Creations, and tonight we're going to be making this pumpkin pendant. And all you need for this is what I'm using, a Carnelian oval stone, which is about a little less than 1.25 inches wide and about a little more than 0.75 inches tall. So it will go this way, and you know, you can have a slightly different size cabochon, but also you will need 4 lengths of, this is square copper, raw copper wire, and I'm also using half round wire and a few little leaf beads. These are just plastic beads that look like leaves. So to begin with, we will start by wrapping right in the center of our, these, I think they're 12 inches long, of our wires. So with the flat side down, you will start wrapping very evenly and making sure not to twist this because we want to keep that flat side down. And I like to use my nylon jaw pliers as I go, just to keep them close together and nice and neat. And you don't really need very many of these for the pumpkin because you want the little separations for the pumpkin to look like they're coming from a center point. So I'm going to cut these off right in the center so that when I pinch it down, these will be where you won't see them. So these 2 ends are going to be right up against the stone here like this, so you won't really see those. Now what I do is I start to bend the wires just by hand and then check with my cabochon to make sure that they're going up the right direction. So normally I will do the very back wires first, and I like to bend these in on either side in the back so that my cabochon, my stone, has a little place to sit. So I just bend these in on either side like this. And try to keep that sort of centered. All right. And this has a little place now to sit. And then I take my wires, I take the the ones in the front on either side, I'm going to pull them up so that they come across the top like this. So they're going to come across the top like that. And then the next 2 are going to come up as well, but not quite as close to the center, like that. And then the next 2, I try to keep around the very sides of the cabochon like this. And then of course you've got your 2 back wires that you've already bent in. So we've got the 2 in the back, and then we've got in the front, I'm going to sneeze, excuse me, I keep sneezing. The first one in the front, going closest to the center, then the next one is coming up on either side of those, and then the next wire is going along the sides. So then what I do from here is I sort of straighten these out so that once it gets to the top of the stone, they start pointing up like that. And the same here, bending these inward. And then the same with these that are on the sides, bending those inward. So they all kind of come together above the stone and in the center like this. And it can be a little tricky at first to make this work out. I usually take one of my very back wires, okay, and I start to cross it around one side like this, and then I pull in, trying to make sure all these stay stacked properly. And then I pull it around to the other side, keeping these stacked as well, like that. So once you have it, it's kind of loose, but at least you've got everything captured, and then you can make sure they're all straight before you actually make it very tight. So I come back around to the other side and make sure this is in the middle, and come back around, make it a little bit tighter like that. It really takes some practice because this cabochon is slippery and very shiny and pretty, but it's so slippery that it's kind of hard to work with. So now, sometimes for the ones that are coming up along the sides of the stone, I bend them in just a tad at the top so they come over the top. And that just sort of secures it. So you still see it coming up along the sides, and then it sort of disappears, but it's holding that stone in place a little bit better that way. All right, the next thing I do once I get to this point is I find the front wires and I separate these out so that they're going off to the sides where they came from to begin with, like that. And then I go to the back and I find the back two, and I'm going to use this one for the third one. So I pick three kind of in the middle toward the back that I'm going to make a bail with. So I just move those out of the way. Now, I don't have my bail making pliers handy, but a lot of times if I don't, I'll just use my finger. So I just set my finger right behind there and wrap these around my finger, and then I pull it out and I come back around, and with my pliers, I'm going to pull this a little bit more forward like that so that it's above that stone. And then I come in and I push those inward so that it's like this. So you've got your three wires making your bail at the top like that. Then I take this wire that I've been using to go around all of them, and I go around one more time to capture all of those. And I squeeze this in. And then I cut this off here with a little bit to spare so I can tuck it in between. That's actually, I think I can cut it a little shorter because I don't want it to peek out the other side. And then I can push this in the middle of the bail right there so it doesn't show. All right. Then you can use these pliers to kind of get these straight again. Separate them out a bit. And there you go. So now from here, I will probably cut these off and just trim these back ones. Now you can, if you have a lot of excess like this, you can keep these. These would be great for when you're making earrings, when you need just little 2-inch long strips. So I don't throw those away. And then I just separate these out a little bit in the back and use my round nose pliers to curl them up on either side. And push it in a tiny bit. And then this one I just curl up one direction. So there's 2 going that way and 1 going the other way. And I think it's a little bit long, so I'm going to trim that and curl that a bit more. There we go. Make that one a little bit smaller as well. And then if they end up showing from the front, you know, you can kind of push them this direction so that they don't. But we're going to be making some little vines, so I don't think these are going to show from the front. All right, the next thing that I do is start creating some curls or vines. So, you know, this is really where you can be creative, and you don't have to do it exactly the way I'm doing it. But sometimes I'll make the vines go the same direction. I'll do a couple going the same way and make them sit up kind of on the side like that. I think that's cute. And then I will do one going the other direction. I'm going to trim it and curl it the other direction like that. And then I will hold that down with half round wire in a minute. Then the next one, I'm going to put a little leaf bead on. So, you know, you can use little Bicone, green Bicone beads if you don't have these. You don't actually even need leaves at all, but I think they're cute. So I'm going to add this on here and just come around so that it will stay held in place, and do another little twirl like that. And then I'm going to add one down here on this side. Put that in there. So I'll have like one on each side, and twist that around to hold it in place like that. So we've got 2 of those. Sometimes I'll add a third one. I'm not sure this really needs it, but I'm gonna do one more little curl in the front like this. Gonna hold it there. A little curl in the front, and add this last one onto this. So this one will have 3 leaves. There we go. And then I'm gonna just twist a little bit around to keep that in place and bring that around to the back like that. So, you know, you can make them as curly or not as curly as you like. I'm just going to do a couple over on this side too, to balance it out a little bit like that. There. All right, so you don't really even see the bail very much, but that's fine. And then I'm going to come around to the back where these are all coming around, and I'm going to trim those off. And tuck them in. So let me tuck in this one first. Just gonna pull it inward and around one of these back wires like that. Kind of squeeze it in. Oops. Bring that around a little bit more like that. All right, and then this one, I'm gonna tuck it in here. And the last one, I'll tuck it in too. Like that. All right, and there you have it. I'm gonna go ahead and attach this. I guess I need to cut another small length of my half round wire. And I'm going to put it underneath this one and my loop with the flat side pointed up. And I'm going to pull this down, bring this over and through the loop and under again and pull it out like that. Just do that a couple times to secure that little loop once more. There we go. And then I'm going to trim these off. Okay, and tuck this in around there. And I kind of push down on it to kind of keep it flat. There we go. All right. Now, when we oxidize it, I feel like that kind of makes it a little bit harder. And like this one, it's going to look a little bit darker when it's all done, and it's not going to move around as much. So there you have it. All right. Thank you for watching.